with everything that I'm sharing, I am hoping, praying that it helps other people in one way or another. Maybe for some, it might be just keep your mouth shut. For others, it might be, hello, it's March 2022, and I'm going to expand on a video with regards to the script I was using, the physio for my injuries and so forth. And in the description box, I mentioned how I came to a realization of having an issue, not very good descriptive, but whatever, about being touched. And in that description, I kind of go into some details and explaining and sharing. And this all ties in with the aftermath, the repercussions, the effects that injustice has had on me. And over the years, I've talked about how when injustice is imposed on one person, it ultimately affects society overall. And that's something I've been really trying to focus on, because when there's injustice being imposed on one person, that impacts everyone's life in that person's life, and it causes a ripple effect and a disruption, say, for example, in peace and harmony and all that stuff. And so, just even having my hands, my arms touched, and my neck and head, just that alone, I realized I got some issues. Now, some of you are going, kind of figure that you had issues, whatever. But with all seriousness, it it gave me that awareness of how much that part of me has manifested itself. And it's not a good thing, and I do realize the importance of touch with human beings. I'm not even talking sexual, I'm just talking touch, physical contact. And over the years, I've mentioned in a few videos, and I thought I would resurrect this again just to show the impact, the psychological impact that injustice has had on me. And pretty much ever since May 4th, 2013, I am very uncomfortable being around people alone, particularly women. And yeah, it's very uncomfortable. And I've felt that kind of grow. It seems to have kind of plateaued. There's only so far that can go, or maybe it can go further, I don't know. But for me, it's just a matter of being uncomfortable. And it all ties in again with my experiences that I've had, and how traumatic the event of May 4th, 2013 was, and some other, throughout my life, other personal experiences, but never really impacted me, never really thought about it, because, well, just life goes on. But I guess you could say for the past 10 years that with these events and how traumatic they've been for me, it's really changed me a lot in that way. I just feel very uncomfortable being alone around people, again, particularly women. And, this kind of maybe ties in with being touched or something, I don't know. But yeah, this is, I share this, and I know a lot of people, they just want to hear the whistleblowing, exposing the exciting stuff, or whatever the descriptive you want to use, or maybe other things that, perspectives with, based on other life experiences, my knowledge base and so forth, which is fine and dandy, but there's a whole other side. Like, for example, when you watch a movie and there's a hero or a main character, going through the movie, and basically you're getting the highlights, the exciting parts of a movie, especially if it's an action movie, but they don't dare show the long, boring, drawn out things that someone might be going through. And, another analogy, and there are movies that do that. They're called dark movies or something. It just shows the dark side of stuff. It's not really the dark side. It's just tapping into maybe what a character is actually going through and what could be happening in real life to someone if it was real. And another analogy could be, for example, romance novels. And, people who read romance novels, and I've never read one, but, I'm assuming, based on urban knowledge, that there's a happy ending and everyone rides off into the sunset type of thing. And I remember, was it like 22 years ago, someone saying that my story with the woman that I married was a tragic romance novel. And well, at the time, I didn't know how things would end, what was going on, or anything. I still really don't know. I can only share things that I know about that chapter of my life, and the chapter in Alberta. I can only share what I know. But I remember telling this person when they mentioned romance novel, I said, romance novels, from the sounds of it, 'cause there was a little bit of discussion about it, sounds like the story of screwed up people and screwed up lives. And they spin it to make it sound, so romantic, right? But really that's what it is. It's just screwed up people and screwed up lives. And it doesn't ever talk about, after the riding off into the sunset type of scenario, what, for example, individuals are dealing with emotionally, mentally, physically, and the struggles that they're going to have to take. And the same goes with movie characters and so forth, a happy ending, or, whatever, what kind of effects has that had on that individual or other characters, and the ripple effect, throughout the society within a movie or in a book. And I've talked about how people who have spent 20, 30, 40 years in prison wrongfully convicted, and people take more note of those kind of stories, because it's more dramatic, right? Someone just, in prison, can't even fathom that. But again, there's more times than not innocent people convicted who are not spending life in prison, but their lives are destroyed and they're still trying to cope. And, these people who have spent decades in a prison, and by no means am I, stating or implying anything to take away from that horrible experience from them, but when you hear about them being exonerated and they're freed and so forth, and everyone's happy and everyone figures, the person's just going to carry on, but nobody can see the effects, the psychological and physical effects that has had on that individual. A documentary or a news show or something will show, the person happy and thankful and forgiving and everything else, but follow that person for 24/7 for a month, 2 months, and you get to see the real them and the struggles that they're going through. And my sharing what I'm going through is a peek into what these people and countless of other people are experiencing, but don't share online, for example, because it is embarrassing. It's really showing a vulnerable side. And then when you have the trolls coming in and everything else, badgering and everything, and really they don't bother me. Sometimes I'll highlight one just because, to make a point. But what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to show with my low, I don't know what you want to call my low moments, the impact and what people go through. And everyone has a story, and I've always said, even in my first book, that I just decided to share mine. Okay, I don't make claim that my story is worse or better than anyone else's. It's my story, and I can only share what I know about my story and support it with independent evidence, as I have. But this is very important, because we see in society people completely disconnected from each other. And I've mentioned, even in recent videos, how People have lost the ability to even communicate with each other, let alone try to have a debate or discussion about a topic. And then we get into cancel culture, and this whole mindset has really deteriorated, destroyed humanity, human contact, because people just don't care. And people say, well, I have my own problems. And, great. Everyone has problems. Everyone goes through things. And to each person, whatever they're going through is, there's no better or worse. It is what it is. When you look at it, when you step back, someone, for example, ordering a sports car, and the order comes in with the wrong color, for them, that might be the end of the world. And you have someone in a war-torn country who just watched their family, go or something, whatever. I mean, yes, it's all perspective, it's all relative, subjective. So I just really want to highlight, again, some more examples that I've talked about, how injustice has impacted me and really taken its toll. A decade living with all this, and how I'm living, and just sliding down and down, trying to hang on to whatever little bit of my life I have left. And really just to say, hey, a lot of people, and I've talked about this, who want to be that whistleblower, that exposure, that truther. You see that a lot in the truther communities, and posting memes and everything else, and going to some social media jail as a badge of honor. Well, the reality is, it's not glamorous, and I've said that this before in other videos. It's not glamorous. Most people go unnoticed. Nobody cares. People just want to get on. So people will come and go. They'll subscribe, unsubscribe because you say the wrong thing or whatever. Couldn't care less. I'm not here to be popular, make people feel good. I'm just trying. Well, I would like to make people feel good, but that's not an objective. I just hear the facts of my story. Here's what I'm going through. Here's the effects of injustice and everything else, and the repercussions of, for example, whistleblowing and exposing and everything else. So that's really all I wanted to say, was just kind of recap everything. I have a lot of new people who are interested in my channel, new subscribers, lost some, and so really that's all I want to say about all that. Was this is what my channel is about, and my social media group that I have has started off with this, but I've also invited other people who are first-hand whistleblowers and exposers of first-hand knowledge to come forward and tell their story, share whatever it is that they know. Maybe it will help others. And, at the end of the day, with everything that I'm sharing, I am hoping, praying that it helps other people in one way or another. Maybe for some it might be just keep your mouth shut. For others it might be what to prepare for if they're in a position. So yeah, anyway, that's all I really want to say. Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment, and share.
Listen to this and write it down if you can't remember it. You're never going to outgrow warfare. You simply must learn to fight. I hear people saying to me, when is it going to get easier? When you die.